Mitch, you came directly from practice today, I heard. I am so blown away by what you have accomplished in such a short time. I'm sure everyone knows what an incredible advocate you are, that you've pushed for equal pay and won in women's soccer.
I liken women to flowers, which you typically don't want to do in sports because you don't want women to be delicate. It's kind of the bias-y that we're trying to fight all the time. But it's more so about how people always expect a flower to bloom when you give it sunlight, water, and attention, and yet women in sport are denied all those three things in terms of our industry and somehow expected to bloom. Look at what programs they're on, look at what times that they're put on, look at how much money has gone into marketing those sports, the individual players in them as well. We don't really dissect it from a business lens. We always talk about women's sports very emotionally.
What takes you kind of into this other realm where you say, I have a responsibility to fight for my fellow women. I have a responsibility to fight for my fellow teammates.
I never sought out to be an advocate of anything. It's just when things don't seem right to me, I'm like, well, let's make it right.
Sarah, I'm curious how you feel about that. Do you feel that you kind of intentionally wanted to change things?
Even though I came from a family of artists, I was very focused on like math and sciences. I was on math team. I was going pre-med. I wanted to be a geneticist. I knew that my grandparents had founded an organization called Young Arts in 1981. I was home from college for the holidays, and my grandmother said, do you want to come to the Young Arts Gala with me? And I said yes, not because I was particularly interested in young arts, or I was just like, okay, I'm going to spend some time with my grandma. And I went, and one of the mothers of a winner that year approached me with tears in her eyes. I guess she had heard I was part of the family who had founded the organization, and she said, I have to thank you so much for everything you've done for my son. He used to come home from school and sit on the floor and draw, and I would yell at him. I would tell him to go do his real work, his math, his science. And seeing him here, being recognized by luminaries in his field, being offered scholarships for his artistic work, I realized this is his real work and I should support it. And I had an incredible aha moment, not just of the importance for young arts for the artists that we were working with, but for the perception of artists in our society.
What was your definition of success growing up, or what kind of led you on this path that advocacy called you, and you were open to receive, I guess, is also something that's worth noting.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I was also pre-med.
What did you want to be?
I was supposed to be a pediatric psychiatrist.
Wow,
Okay.
psychiatrist,
Yeah,
my
that's
gosh.
what I wanted
That's
to do.
heavy.
What were your barriers?
I think the athlete's dilemma is that you've never actually reached the moment of success that you want, even when you goal set and you get there. When I was younger, I used to say, okay, if I make the USWNT national team, like I'll be happy and I'll be successful. And then I got there and I was like, well, I need to start. And I was like, okay, well, I need to score. And I was like, I need to be the best player on the field. And then it was like, okay, now internationally, in the world, like how do we get there? So it's just, I feel like it's almost, and it sounds sad, but it's almost like a constant living in failure that you just get really comfortable with. And in that you find success somehow, if that makes sense. Do you relate to that at all?
Yes.
Oh.
No, I was going to say, that also sounds uniquely like women.
Women, I was about to say
we're
women.
women. We're always, it's never enough.
And I think even as it applies to advocacy or my personal goals, the thing is, even when I have been successful and I reached my goal, I think I felt less joy and happiness, and I felt more relief. I think when you are trying to achieve something and you know that you can achieve it, when you don't achieve it, that failure is like, you know that you can do it. So when you do achieve it, it's like, okay, well, I knew I could do this.
I feel like I live with constant imposter syndrome, that I will be in that room and I'll be like, I don't belong here. What am I doing here?
Really?
Like, oh yeah, for me.
That's so interesting, because I feel like I walk into rooms and I'm like, you don't belong here.
That's going to be my next
I'm now
I'm gonna use
adopting
that.
this. I'm gonna lose my imposter syndrome, and I am now gonna walk into a room and be like, you don't belong here.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
You just changed my entire mindset.